Have you finished your Easter chocolates yet? Don't worry, you still have plenty of time. Your calendar at home may give you only 2 days of Easter, but in church time you get 40 days. What I like about this Easter time is, for one thing, we get different readings. Instead of the first reading being from the Old Testament, we get readings from the Acts of the Apostle. So from that work of the evangelist Luke, where he continues from his gospel to now tell us what happened after Jesus died. One thing that I like about these readings is that we hear of appearances of Jesus. We know that there were many people who, like his mother, who were with Jesus for years and years, and that must have been an incredible thing. But there were also people who encountered Jesus after his death. And that really intrigues me, because maybe Jesus could appear to me. When, during this season, we hear the stories of these appearances, one thing that stands out to me, and that is that when Jesus appeared to people, they didn't recognize him at first. Jesus met Mary, he met some of the apostles, he met disciples on the road to Emmaus, he met people by the Sea of Galilee, and he wasn't always recognized at first. On the road to Emmaus, we're walking along and they met this person and they were saying, haven't you heard? This great person, Jesus died. And then this person said, well, you know, that was for a purpose. There was a meaning behind it. And this person who they didn't know was telling them all about Jesus and the prophets and how Jesus fit in. And they thought that was cool. They didn't know who this person was, but he sure knew a lot. And the day came to an end. And then they said, you know, why don't you come and join us for a meal? It's getting late, you need a place to stay. And then while they were having their dinner, this stranger broke the bread and blessed it and passed it. And then they realized, oh, this is Jesus. It took them a whole day to realize that actually they were with Jesus. When I think about these stories, I think that what is significant is the idea of relationship. They didn't recognize Jesus until they remember Jesus through their relationship. And so I think about how that affects me. A couple of quotes that stand out for me are from 1 John, the letter of John. When God is revealed, we will be like him, for we will see him as he is. And then also in the Gospel of John, he says, recounting the story of the Good Shepherd, he says, I know my own, and my own know me. Maybe Jesus has been and is appearing to me, but do I notice it? Do I recognize it? As a Catholic, have learned to recognize and be in relationship with Jesus is by going to church, going to Mass. I know that sometimes as Catholics, we think of going to Mass as an obligation. And I always try to remember that this is an opportunity to be with Jesus, to have communion, and especially to pray. And one thing I love about Mass is that there are so many different kinds of prayer. We sing prayer, we listen to prayer, we have the prayers of the faithful, we have time for group prayers, we have time for silent prayers, we can have wordless prayers. For example, at the time that the bell rings.